Hello viewers, and welcome to the channel. Today we start our series on forgotten television shows of the 1990s. So let's jump right in.
Not in the mood? You're not in the mood to see Molly Ringwald be a social outcast? Be in love with someone who's in love with someone else? Be totally misunderstood by her father?
Which John Hughes movie are you talking about?
All of them.
Parker Lewis Can't Lose was an American teen sitcom that aired on Fox Network September 1990 to June 1993. Created by Clyde Phillips and Lon Diamond, the show is known for its unique style, irreverent humor, and innovative approach to storytelling. The show centered around Parker Lewis, a high school student who, along with his friends Mikey Randall and Jerry Steiner, navigate the challenges of adolescence at Santo Domingo High School. Unlike typical high school sitcoms of the time, Parker Lewis Can't Lose took a more surreal and hyperbolic approach to storytelling, often featuring exaggerated scenarios and breaking the fourth wall. Episodes often began with a chaotic event, followed by a rewind to reveal how the characters arrived at that point. Parker's ability to manipulate time and space, coupled with the show's self-awareness and frequent use of visual gags, set it apart from other teen sitcoms of the time. Parker Lewis, the charismatic and resourceful protagonist who, despite getting into various misadventures, always managed to come out on top. Mikey Randall, Parker's best friend, known for his love of food and his unwavering loyalty. Jerry Steiner, the intellectual and neurotic friend who often found himself in amusing predicaments. The show received positive reviews for its clever writing, innovative style, and energetic performances from the cast. While not initially a huge ratings success, the show developed a cult following over the years and is remembered fondly by those who watched it during its original run. Despite its relatively short run, Parker Lewis Can't Lose left a lasting impact on television. Its impact can be seen later in teen sitcoms that experimented with narrative structure and visual storytelling. The show is often compared to Ferris Bueller's Day Off and is considered one of the standout teen sitcoms of the early 1990s. In conclusion, Parker Lewis Can't Lose was a unique and innovative teen sitcom that stood out for its unconventional storytelling, humor, and memorable characters. While it may not have achieved the same level of mainstream success as some of its contemporaries, it remains a cult favorite among fans of 1990s television. The Flash television series that aired in 1990 was a live-action adaptation of the DC Comics character of the same name. The show aired on CBS for one season from September 1990 to May 1991. The Flash follows the story of Barry Allen, a forensic scientist for the Central City Police Department, who gains super speed abilities after a chemical accident caused by a lightning bolt. Barry takes on the superhero persona of the Flash to fight crime and protect Central City from various metahuman threats. The show was developed by Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo, who drew inspiration from the DC Comics character created by writer Gardner Fox and Harry Lampert. The series had a darker and more serious tone compared to some of the other superhero shows of its time, resembling the style of the Batman films of that era. The costume for the Flash was designed by Dave Stevens and was a departure from the traditional comic book costume, featuring a more stylized and aerodynamic look. The Flash had a total of 22 episodes in its single season. The episodes often featured Barry Allen facing various metahuman villains, each with unique powers and abilities. John Wesley Shipp as Barry Allen and the Flash. Shipp portrayed the titular character, bringing the iconic DC Comics superhero to life on the small screen. Amanda Pays as Tina McGee. Pays played the role of Tina McGee, a scientist who helped Barry Allen understand the control of his newfound super speed abilities. Alex Desire as Julio Mendez. Desire portrayed Barry Allen's best friend and fellow Central City Police Department employee, Julio Mendez. The Flash received positive reviews for its special effects, particularly the portrayal of super speed, which was groundbreaking for its time. Despite its initial success, the series had faced tough competition in its time slot, and was eventually cancelled after one season. While the 1990 The Flash series had a relatively short run, it remains a nostalgic and important part of television history for fans of superhero adaptations. Cop Rock was a television series that premiered in 1990 and is often remembered as one of the most unique and unconventional shows in the history of television. Created by Stephen Bochco and William M. Finkelstein, the series attempted to blend the genres of police procedural and musical drama. It was a bold experiment that combined crime solving with song and dance numbers, a concept that was met with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. Cop Rock premiered on September 26, 1990 on ABC. Each episode featured characters breaking into song and dance, often in the midst of serious crime investigations and legal proceedings. The cast included a wide range of established actors, such as David Giannopoulos, Ronnie Cox, Peter Onorati, and Ann Bobby. The ensemble cast had to showcase both their dramatic acting and musical talents. The musical elements of the show included original songs for each episode. The characters would express their emotions and advance the plot through musical performances, a departure from the traditional dialogue-driven storytelling of typical police dramas. Cop Rock faced significant challenges with both critics and audiences. While some appreciated the innovative approach, many found it difficult to accept the sudden transitions between serious crime scenes and musical numbers. The show struggled to find a consistent tone that resonated with viewers. Due to low ratings and negative reviews, Cop Rock was cancelled after only 11 episodes. The show's mix of genres and the unconventional approach to storytelling proved to be too jarring for audiences, and it failed to attract a sustainable viewership. Despite its short-lived existence, Cop Rock has achieved sort of a cult status over the years. It is often cited as an example of a bold and daring experiment that didn't quite connect with its intended audience. The show's failure has also served as a cautionary tale for networks attempting to blend genres in future projects. In hindsight, Cop Rock remains a unique and memorable footnote in the history of television, showcasing the risks involved in pushing the boundaries of traditional storytelling formats.
Life is one damn thing after another. Mark Twain said that after he changed his name. I'm Ferris Bueller.
Ferris Bueller is an American sitcom television series based on the 1986 John Hughes film Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The show stars Charlie Schlatter in the title role. Produced by Maish Limited Productions in association with Paramount Television, John Hughes was not involved in the show's production. Though based on the film, the series was not a canon continuation. Rather, it was set up to portray itself as being the real-life situations upon which the film was loosely based. In the pilot episode, Ferris refers to the film and expresses his displeasure at Matthew Broderick portraying him, even going as far as destroying a life-size cardboard cutout of Broderick with a chainsaw. However, no further reference to the film within the series would be made after this. As in the film, the series focused on Ferris Bueller and his high school experiences at Ocean Park High, including dealing with his best friend Cameron, played by Brandon Douglas, love interest Sloane, played by Amy Dollins, and Sister Jeannie, played by Jennifer Aniston. Although the film was set in Chicago, the series was set in Santa Monica. Like the film, Ferris is liked by everyone as the cool guy on campus. He is extremely popular, suave, and quick-witted, and is a master of ceremonies who often breaks the fourth wall. Cameron is still a depressive neurotic who, through Ferris, is able to loosen up occasionally. Sloane is portrayed slightly different, and that she is not completely wrapped around Ferris's finger and has to be won over at times. Ed Rooney is the primary antagonist and is always out to get Ferris, but usually ends up foiled or humiliated. His secretary Grace is not a wisecracking sarcastic, but a passive pushover with an unreciprocated crush on Ed. Jeannie is constantly at odds with Ferris and is being favored by all. Though she can be antagonistic, she is proven not all bad, albeit begrudgingly. In the film, Mr. and Mrs. Bueller's names are Katie and Tom, but in the series, they are Barbara and Bill. Also, Ferris is a junior and Jeannie is a senior as opposed to the other way around in the movie. The series debuted on August 23, 1990 on NBC, and was cancelled within its first season, a few months after its debut, with only 13 episodes aired due to its poor reception.
I'm Ferris Bueller. I've lived through death, delirium, devastation. So, what am I gonna do now? I'm going to Disneyland.
The swamp is me. I am the swamp.
Swamp Thing is a television series that originally aired from 1990 to 1993, based on the DC Comics character of the same name created by Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson. The show was a live-action adaptation that blended elements of horror, science fiction, and superhero genres. Swamp Thing follows the story of Dr. Alec Holland, a scientist who, after a tragic accident in the Louisiana swamps, transforms into the Swamp Thing, a humanoid creature with plant-like features and superhuman abilities. The show explores Swamp Thing's struggles to retain his humanity while protecting the swamp and its inhabitants from various supernatural threats. Swamp Thing, played by Dick Durock, the protagonist who transforms into the Swamp Thing after a scientific experiment gone wrong. Abby Arcane, played by Carrie Wurr, who becomes Swamp Thing's ally and love interest. Anton Arcane, played by Mark Lindsay Chapman, the main antagonist, a sinister scientist with a personal vendetta against Swamp Thing. The series was developed by Joseph Stefano, who is also involved in creating the classic TV series The Outer Limits. The show's makeup and special effects, especially the practical effects used to bring Swamp Thing to life, received praise for their quality. Despite being a limited budget, the production team managed to create a visually striking representation of the Swamp Thing character. Swamp Thing garnered a cult following, but faced challenges with ratings and budget constraints, leading to its cancellation after 2 seasons. The show is remembered for its atmospheric tone, engaging storylines, and the titular character's unique design. Following the cancellation of the TV series, Swamp Thing continued to be featured in other media, including animated series, video games, and a 1982 feature film. The complete series has been released on DVD, allowing fans to revisit the show's entirety. While Swamp Thing may not have enjoyed the longevity of some other superhero TV series, it remains a notable and beloved adaptation of the DC Comics character, capturing the essence of the swampy, supernatural world in which the Swamp Thing resides. Get a Life was a unique and offbeat American television sitcom that aired on the Fox network from September 23, 1990 to March 8, 1992. The show was created by Chris Elliott, who also starred in the series, and Adam Resnick. It gained a cult following for its surreal humor, unconventional storytelling, and Chris Elliott's eccentric performance. The show follows the misadventures of Chris Peterson, a 30-year-old paperboy who still lives with his parents. Despite his age, Chris is far from leading a conventional adult life. The series takes a surreal turn when Chris encounters bizarre and fantastical situations, including encounters with aliens, time travel, and various other absurd scenarios. Chris Elliott as Chris Peterson. Bob Elliott as Fred Peterson, Chris's father. Eleanor Donahue as Gladys Peterson, Chris's mother. Chris Elliott was known for his work on Late Night with David Letterman as various characters, contributing to the show's unconventional and absurd comedy style. Get a Life allowed him to bring his unique comedic sensibilities to a broader audience. While Get a Life was not a mainstream success during its original run, it developed a cult following over the years, particularly among fans of alternative and avant-garde comedy. The show received mixed reviews during its initial run. Critics appreciated its originality and Chris Elliott's performance, but the unconventional nature of the humor made it divisive amongst viewers. Some memorable episodes include Spewy and Me, where Chris befriends a 2-foot-tall creature
and tastes kind of garlicky.
And Zoo Animals on Wheels, where Chris joins a support group for people who believe they have been abducted by aliens. Despite its unique approach and growing fan base, Get a Life faced challenges in maintaining consistent ratings. Fox eventually canceled the show after 2 seasons, much to the disappointment of its dedicated fan base. Over the years, Get a Life has gained a reputation as a cult classic, with fans appreciating its ahead-of-its-time humor and willingness to break from traditional sitcom conventions. Chris Elliott's unconventional comedy style and the show's willingness to explore absurd and surreal premises set Get a Life apart from other sitcoms of its time. While it may not have achieved widespread success during its initial run, the show's legacy has grown, and it remains a notable and influential piece of alternative television comedy. Thanks for taking this trip down memory lane. Do you have any favorite shows from 1990? Please share in the comments if you do. And remember, the remote control is not the only way to rewind the past. Hit subscribe for more retro TV adventures.